Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens here once again with another episode of the Daily Unsung Leader. And today we're going to be talking about number one on the list of, call it 30 days of leadership hacks. Hashtag 30 days of leadership hacks. The first one I'm going to be talking about is naps. Why are naps important? Why I've done it, some of my experiences, and some of the most famous people who have employed naps as a part of their repertoire of existence, of leadership, of accomplishments, of productivity, and all those good things, right? So why naps? Well, mainly because we don't get enough sleep, especially when you're in a leadership position. We end up carrying a lot of our things that happen at work. We end up carrying, the weight and the gravity of those things with us, into the home, and subsequently, once we get into a place where, things are quiet, our mind starts racing. How are we going to handle this? How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to deal with this because of this? And if we do this, this will happen. But what about this over here? We get into such a loud place, before we're about to go to sleep, that we don't get the sleep that we actually need. Is an estimation. There was a study done by the Center of Creative Leadership that says about 42% of leaders are not getting 6 hours of sleep at night. And that's just the minimum, right? 6 hours of sleep is the minimum. The recommended is, typically somewhere between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. And almost half of our leaders are not even getting the minimum amount of sleep. So what does sleep do? Well, sleep allows us to be, number one, more creative. It allows us not to be a freaking jerk, because we're not compromised emotionally, because, we haven't replenished, our energy. We haven't replenished, the glucose, in our brains. That sleep allows us to replenish, and just kind of a connection piece with, with getting not enough sleep. That glucose that does get replenished in our brains. A study of Alzheimer's patients, shows a severe reduction, in that glucose, that in their brain. So it is imperative. It is imperative. I'm not drawing a parallel. I'm not a scientist. I'm not drawing a parallel from lack of sleep, to Alzheimer's. But I am saying that glucose does get replenished when you're sleeping. The Harvard Business Report actually did a study of sleep study of 40 managers and 120 of their direct reports during the first 3 months of their assigned duties, and most of them were sleep deprived. They were more impatient, irritable, antagonistic, and just made for worse relationships. And that not only happened with the leaders, but everybody, experienced, those same things. And it was not something that just got better over time, because relationships, at the start it was bad, and at the end of the 3 months it was bad, right? So it doesn't just get better, over time. It's not something that you just, normally deal with, but you got to think about it. For most of us, especially in leadership positions, we worship at the idol of busy. Oh yeah, I'm super busy. I used to get calls, from some of my older mentors, at 1930, 2000, on my my last submarine, to see if I was there, and they will call it dedication check. Hey, dedication check. I see you're not really working. But we peer pressure each other into, hey, if you're going to be a leader, if you're successful, that means that you're staying late, that you're forgoing any rest, and that's just completely moronic. That's completely moronic. But there's just there's something that that would occur. And an interesting thing that I found about lack of sleep is that one of the findings from this research showed that bosses who systematically kind of did away with sleep rated their subordinates as less likely to do the right thing, and also showed a drop in their ability to do the right thing. It says that it's actually likely that employees were actually behaving in less moral ways as a result of the workplace environment or their own sleep deprivation. right? So apparently there is a connection piece between lack of sleep and character. Lack of sleep and character, moral, ethical behavior is affected by our lack of sleep. So you may want to do the right thing, but because you're sleep deprived, you're just like, whatever. Because you don't have the energy, to do, the right thing. So you just succumb to what's easy, right? So lack of sleep and that connection piece to character, is a huge thing, right? So how do you combat this? Well, goes into my leadership hack, and that's take a nap. Take a nap. And that's a spectrum, right? For me, my perfect power nap, comes to about 22 minutes. I will set a timer, 22 minutes, and once it hits that, I'm refreshed, I'm rejuvenated. And especially when I was out to sea, I will routinely have to stay up, for days at a time with some of the operations that we were responsible for. And I would, all right, I got 15 minutes that I can kind of pull away. I'll go, take a quick nap, get revived. Go take a quick nap, get revived. Take a quick nap, get revived. And it's something that I've carried that practice on, even to this day. It's not as busy in this job as it was, at sea, but it helped me to stay on my toes, to be more efficient, to be more lively, to be more energetic. And it's amazing some of the benefits that you can get just from taking a quick nap, right? And boost your memory, boost your creativity, boost your clarity, improve your decision making, all these different things. So for me, I told you my sweet spot is about 22 minutes. Anything more than that is kind of detrimental for me. You kind of get groggy, right? So I'll be I'm always kind of guarded against that, because napping is not an exact science, and you got to work for yourself, because you can do it too long and you reintegrate into work and you're more groggy a little bit. It takes you a little bit longer to get back from that. So I try to keep it as succinct and as short as possible. So I would tell the longer naps are better, because it does help with the decision making. Plus, when you are trying to solve problems, it helps with that connection piece in your mind, in your brain, the chemistry to make those connections to help with those problem solving aspects. Because if you have a problem, if you have something that you're working on, and you're stuck, stepping away from it for a little while, and allowing your brain to just work on it kind of in the background, like the background processes of your brain worked on it instead of your consciousness. It's something that I've noticed over time that has helped. You step away from it, kind of sit down, take a breath, take a deep breath or whatever. And get that away from your mind. Next thing you know, you have a solution to the problem that you're looking for, right? So napping has so many different benefits, and it's backed up by research. Research indicates that power naps benefit your health. They reduce stress, lower your risk of developing cardiac problems as well, right? So it's well researched. This is not new information. But before the research happened, we had very prominent individuals that were taking naps. One was Winston Churchill, that would take at least 2 naps per day, and he believed that it helped him get twice as much done, because he took naps. From his book, it says nature has not intended mankind to work from 8 in the morning until midnight without that refreshment of blessed oblivion, which, even if it only lasts 20 minutes, is sufficient to renew all the vital sources. Don't think you will be doing less work because you sleep during the day. That's a foolish notion held by people who have no imaginations. You will be able to accomplish more. You get 2 days in one. Well, at least 1.5. Right, so you see his take on taking naps. So one of the most prominent historical figures, that we have, World War II. If you don't know about Winston Churchill, please go go do some research, and you find how important he was, to World War II, and just to England in and of itself, right? So, painter Salvador Dali, also super famous painter. He had a step-by-step process for napping. It says he would sleep sitting in an upright chair. He would hold something hard and metal in his hands, place a metal plate upside down beneath his hand, and he would allow himself to drift to sleep. And once he would drift to sleep, kind of that first stage of sleep, he would drop that metal thing out of his hand. It would hit the back of that plate, and it would make a noise, and he would jar him and awake him. So he only got kind of that first level nap. And he said that used his word, it revivified his artistic process, right? So responsible for some of the most amazing paintings we've ever seen. And this same sentiment you see in Leonardo da Vinci, who did the exact same practice, and Albert Einstein also napped, right? So this is not something that's new. This is not something that is fringe science. This is well researched. It is well documented, and it works. You just got to find the time to do it, and recognize within yourself when you're getting into that place where you need a little bit of rejuvenation, or you recognize you haven't had as much sleep as you think you need, right? So take that time. Everybody gets a lunch period, right? Take that time, 15 to 22 minutes, just indulge in a little nap, and I guarantee that it's going to be revolutionary, for your leadership. All right, maybe not revolutionary, but it will definitely help your clarity for the rest, of the day, and you'll be better for the people that you have the privilege of leading. All right, so increase your creativeness, increase your decision-making ability, increase your attitude and your personality in terms of likability throughout the day. But utilize it, and let me know what you think out there. Try it out. Let me know. But it's a leadership hack, and it can work for you. Work for me. 10,000 leagues up under the sea, and I'm sure that it can work for you, as well. So, hope you like it. I'm coming back with with 29 more leadership hacks, 30 days of leadership hacks. Hashtag like, share, let me know, comment, and I'll be back tomorrow with another unsung leadership nugget. Peace.